Welcome to the Armchair GM Podcast. Calgary Flames, after winning 3 in a row, rolled into Tampa thinking they were top notch. Then they got taken down a peg. That's what happens when you're kind of in the bottom. You are watching the Armchair GM Podcast.
Well, like you said, the Flames had won 3 in a row, and then they went into Tampa Bay tonight and got really embarrassed really quickly. Wolf, who I personally think has had a pretty good stretch over the last maybe just a little bit less than a month. He's actually played pretty well. He had a really bad game, let in, I think it was, what was it, 3 goals and 5 shots or something like that. And then
4 shots.
Yeah, and then Devin Cooley came in and actually played, I thought, very well, like he has pretty much all season. I'm not specifically worried about Wolf, especially after he bounced back after the tough start he had. And then, this is pretty much the first bad game he's had in a long time. But it's nice knowing that there's a backup that the Flames can trust, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Wolf in his last 5 games, obviously looked pretty good versus San Jose on the 13th of November, but then went 870, 818, 935, 250 in the save percentage area. So he's also led in the first goal in the last 2 games. Sorry, 2 shots. He's led in the first shot in the last 2 games, which is very Markstrom-esque.
I was going to say, Markstrom looks small this year, doesn't he?
Yeah. Yeah. It's, and it really takes the wind out of the sails of the team, right? But at least when we're playing against Vancouver, it was okay because they're clearly a much lesser team than Tampa.
Which is funny because Tampa was playing with no Hedman, no McDonough, no Point. Hagel got hurt at some point, so they're playing with Darren Radish as their best defenseman right now, actually. Right. And most people listening are like, who the fuck is Darren Radish? But
yeah, I know their injury woes are definitely creeping up on them there. I happen to employ a couple of them in fantasy, and my team's been suffering big time. So
I don't blame you. I find it crazy nobody's been willing to trade me Braden Point, Greg, even though he's just awful this year. But hey, now I'm glad he didn't.
Right.
No, seriously though, Wolf, no excuse at all. This isn't an excuse for Wolf having a, what did you say, 240?
250
today, letting in 3 goals on 4 shots or whatever it was. And every goalie has games like that, but that was bad. Wolf is better than that, but at that point, shots, or actually after that, I think at one point shots were 6-0, right? Like the Flames hadn't done anything up to that point. So it's, yes, Wolf was bad, but the Flames were also bad. And there was no wind to take out of the sails, I suppose, is what I'm getting at.
No, but I mean, when you go down like that early, there's no coming back from that against a team like Tampa, right? They know how to put foot to throat and just shut it down at that point. They're a superior team.
Yeah, John Cooper
A
is a
number of years, right?
fantastic coach.
Yeah,
Vasilevsky
yeah.
is a crazy good goalie who started getting shutouts. I think he had like 160-minute long shutout streak before Joel Farabee ripped a short-handed goal from distance for some reason, like completely unscreened. He just kind of let that one through. But
I mean,
good news is
we
Joel
would,
Farabee's been on a little bit of a tear. I know it doesn't sound super duper great, but I believe he's got 4 points in his last 5 games, has 3 goals, I believe, maybe 4.
Hmm.
He's been playing pretty well. He's been ripping the puck home, fixing some of the bad luck he's had over his Flames tenure. Been pretty good to see considering how down both of us have been on him ever since we acquired him. But yeah, it's been good to see him kind of finding it, I suppose you could say.
he's an odd player to watch, right? Like he's such a wrecking ball out there. He has zero coordination in my opinion, and he's all over the ice. But for whatever reason, he has this ability to put the puck in the net, which is it's really bizarre to watch. Because if you watch every aspect of his game, he is a career fourth liner in and out of the lineup. Like just looking at the way he approaches the game and how he plays the game, it's really bizarre. But he gets goals. It's really interesting. I mean, I'm not a fan of his game whatsoever, but I mean, you can't
He's a
fault the guy
grinder.
for scoring the goals, right? He's putting the puck in the net, which
I'm surprised
is
you're
hard
not a
to
fan of him
describe.
because you like grinding hockey. And
I
that's
don't.
what he is. He's a grinder.
Yeah, well, he is. I just find his play sloppy.
I can get on board with that.
Like, like
It
yes,
is.
I
He's
mean he's physical and he's not afraid to take a hit or give a hit or anything like that. It's a weird game to watch when he's on the ice. Like there's just no rhyme or reason to what he's doing.
I kind of disagree on that. I think he's got a rhyme and a reason. I find his game, and I know I've said this before, but I find his game very much like Blake Coleman, just a half step back of Blake Coleman
Without,
when it comes to speed and coordination. And that, that's the difference between the two players, right? Like Blake Coleman is a guy you'd be comfortable having play all, for several years on your team like we have. And Joel Farabee, even though he's hot right now, is a guy that we're still confused as to why he's on the team. Even though
yeah,
they're like very similar players, and Farabee is fucking 10 years younger.
right, right.
8 years, I think. Something like that.
Yeah, it sounds about right. Yeah, yeah, and I mean he's got what 7 goals on the season now or 6?
I'm not sure.
That's
I'd have to look that up, but
yeah,
I mean, he's been a contributing factor to the team recently, and that's all you can ask for. I mean,
yeah, yeah. It's cyclical.
especially when we're in a kind of a tough situation between fans and management, or fans and ownership, which is a bizarre thing to say, where I'd say we're getting close to about 90% of the fans are just frustrated and upset by the fact that management has no fucking idea, or not management, ownership has no idea what the fuck they're doing, or what fans want. But um we're in this stage where the fans are kind of saying, as much as we love Blake Coleman, it's probably getting to be close for time to him to go. And there's a succession plan, right? Like Farabee still got a couple years left on his deal. I think 3 or 4 actually. And he's a fucking perfect fit to play on that wing with Michael Backlund, right? In my opinion.
Yeah,
Like maybe not quite as good as Coleman. Like I said, he's about a half step back of Coleman, but still, I think that would be a natural fit.
I'd be. I wholeheartedly disagree with your assessment in comparison to him and Blake Coleman, but that's okay.
Really?
We can.
Well, go
Yeah.
on.
I don't find him to be comparable to him whatsoever.
Oh,
I
really?
find 95% of the time he looks like Bambi on the ice, where Coleman is a smooth skater. He does things on purpose and for a reason, where Farabee, I find most of his game is by accident. His positioning, the plays that he makes. I couldn't. I think Coleman would be bottom 5 of my list of who I would compare Farabee to.
Hmm.
Just because I find Coleman to be a very smooth player.
Fair enough.
The way he skates around, but
I definitely don't agree with that. Like I think Farabee definitely has a little bit of the coordination issues, and that's something we've been talking about for close to a year now, ever since he came here. But in my opinion, the willingness to get on the boards and battle, the kind of the overall like back checking a bit, maybe not ability, but the willingness to back check the actually, I think he's a pretty good penalty killer. Both of them are pretty good penalty killers. Again, Coleman's better at it, um, but Farabee's very similar. Um, and just kind of being around the net and doing flash screens and stuff like that, and being the guy pounding the puck, um, looking for rebounds because fucking nobody else on the team does. I find that those are the areas I find that those two guys kind of have similarities. Again, Farabee is not nearly as effective at it as Blake Coleman is, but I do think that he has kind of a similar play style, and whether or not he's effective at it, I think he tries to be a very similar player to Coleman.
yeah.
But if you don't see
Yeah.
that, I
The speaking of players in front of the net and things like that, we're not seeing that from Huberdeau anymore.
I've noticed that.
And that's
I,
that's
I've not,
troublesome to me because I thought he had a really good season last year playing that role.
and I thought he had a really good, like when he came back from injury this season, he wasn't
Yeah.
really in front of the net, but I thought he had a really good, um, I don't know, 2-3 weeks when he first came back. I thought he was playing really well. He was scoring. He was making nice plays. He was making tape to tape passes. Um, and one thing he still is doing is battling on the boards and stuff like that. But you're right.
Mhm.
He's not doing the power forward thing that he was doing last year in front of the net. And if I'm not incorrect, I don't know if you have it up, but I believe it's been like several games since either him or Kadri has scored.
Let's see.
Yeah, I think I
Well,
heard that stat on the broadcast today that neither Huberdeau or Kadri had scored in like 8 or 9 games or something like that. And I heard it and I was like, oh yeah, it's been a while. Like other than that, actually, full credit to Kadri. That absolutely beautiful shootout goal doesn't really count as a goal, but
yeah. I mean, neither one of them have scored in their last 5 games, so
Mhm.
that's interesting. Like ever since Coronado kind of started going on his little heater there, right?
Yeah,
It's like the Flames can only have one person scoring goals at
not
once.
two. Farabee scoring.
Fair.
Rasmus is scoring and getting points.
Yeah, I think his little point streak ended tonight.
It
If
did,
I'm not
but
mistaken. Yeah, it did. Yeah.
full credit to him. I'm not as high. Like, look, Jersey right there, but I'm not as high on Rasmus's big season that people are thinking he's having, as a lot of people are. He's absolutely been far better than he was last year, but I still think he has a lot of trouble defensively. He's been blocked at one point today. About halfway through the third, I saw he had blocked 6 shots, which was pretty fucking good. And he's always done that. He's always been good at getting in shot lanes and stuff like that. But I think his overall defensive play and his prone, he's kind of turnover prone. I don't think any of that has been really fixed. I think that his scoring this year and his points this year, and the fact that Uyghur has really struggled this year, has made it seem like Anderson's played a lot better than he has. And don't get me wrong, he's played better than he did last year or the year before. But yeah, a lot of people are saying he's the best player on the team right
now. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, no, I wouldn't give him that. But I will definitely agree with people saying that his year has been, a far cry from what it's been for the last couple of years, for sure. And in all honesty, I'm okay with people in media or the fan base or management talking about how good of a season he's having. Like, fuck yeah.
Absolutely.
The old Rasmus is back, baby. Like, let's get him signed and traded. Right?
And he's been playing, he's been getting power play points, which is great.
Yeah.
The power play was absolutely ass until they put him on there, and then it started being good again. So that's good to see. Yeah. It's nice to, probably bad timing considering this Tampa Bay game just happened and it was awful. But it's been good to see the team not suck as much. Like, even though both of us want Gavin McKenna or fucking Tynan Lawrence or Ivar Stenberg or someone like that, I mean, we're not all in on winning this year, because getting a few high draft picks and a couple superstars is going to help winning long term and have long term success, right? But
yeah,
it's been nice to, I say, the last 4 or 5 games, it's been really nice to just be able to watch Flames hockey and not be exhausted by every play, because that's kind of what it was like for the first month of the season or so. Like, every play was just painful to watch. Everybody we were talking to was just like, this is like, you can tank or you can rebuild and still have some exciting hockey and some offensive chances, and the Flames just weren't doing that. But it seems like they've been playing a lot looser the last few games, and it's been really nice to see, because we're gonna watch either way. And if they're playing, even if they lose, if they're playing relatively exciting hockey, that's way better. Everybody wants to watch exciting hockey, even if you're losing.
Absolutely. Yeah, my biggest thing going into this season, obviously we know that last year was the outlier. Don't take a lot from it. Other than Wolf looked fantastic and ended up catapulting us up into a shitty position in the standings, where we did make the playoffs and didn't draft where we should have been. But my biggest thing coming into the season this year was, yes, I want to see exciting hockey. I want to see progression from the young guys. Unfortunately, we're still in that position where we're unable to see a good chunk of them. And then especially with some injuries that have been handed down in the last couple of weeks. So it's kind of sucks. But I also want to see effort, right? I just want to I want to see effort. That's one of my biggest critiques of Kadri his entire career, right? Is how quickly he'll give up on a play. He just doesn't do it for me, right?
Yeah.
He'll give up on the play. He'll sulk in the corner while the pucks going up the ice into our zone, just little things like that. Those are the types of things that I can't fucking stand at all. Like it really pisses me off. He's, thankfully though, he's pretty well the only player on the team that does it. But like I said, as long as I see effort and progression from the young guys, the rest can, let the chips fall where they may as far as the standings go.
Kadri,
I truly think we're where we should be right now in the standings.
I agree. I don't think that the roster as currently constructed is a 32nd place team, but I think it's 28th to 31st.
Yeah. When you said 28th, my first thing in my head was at best. Yeah, that makes sense.
So I just want to rewind there for a second and talk about Kadri for a second, because everybody who ever watches this show knows that neither of us are fans of Kadri. I want to give him some credit though. This season, at least the last few weeks, he's been going offside a lot less. He's been forcing himself offside a lot less. He's been skating into opponents a lot less. He's been more willing to pass the puck, and instead of trying to be a superhero, I found. And there was even one time today, which is funny because you were mentioning, bitching at the refs and stuff like that, where I straight up saw him about to, and then he changed his mind. It was like 4-0, I think, at the time. And he got taken down. It was probably a penalty. Don't remember who the player was, but he got taken down behind our net, and he fell over, went on his back, and looked at the ref for a fraction of a second.
Yeah.
And you could tell he was about to say, and then he fucking changed his mind and got right up and started back checking. And I was like, this is not the same guy. Like, somebody else has his jersey, because any other time in the last however many years we've had to fucking watch this nonsense, he would have sat there on his ass and argued with the ref about that for fucking 20 seconds.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to say, like, because we spend a lot of time shitting on Kadri, I just want to make sure that when he's not doing the things that bother me, I want to make sure that I'm also acknowledging that he's not doing the shit that's bothering me. But he hasn't scored in fucking 8 games or whatever it is. So
exactly. Get your shit together.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is interesting, right? We go on a 3-game win streak there, and our top guys aren't putting the puck in the net, not contributing. At least
like,
on the score sheet.
Backlund had a couple of nice goals in the past few games. Farabee, Rasmus Anderson.
Coronado.
Coronado.
I mean, I've been ragging on him for the bulk of the season, but he's had a really good couple of weeks. He's, obviously the unfortunate hit from behind there, where pretty much caved in his nose and a bit of his face.
What do you think of that?
I mean, I don't like it. I don't consider it to be as vicious as what they're talking about in the media. It was he was going one direction and then stopped and turned back, which I think is a mistake when you're up against the boards like that. Now that being said, I'm not blaming Coronado for receiving that hit. It was pretty senseless in the fact that he could have avoided making the contact, especially the way that he threw it, right? Because he really followed through with that contact pretty aggressively. But I personally have never had that much of an issue with plays like that. So I found that he was far enough, at least in my opinion, not far enough, close enough to the boards where the boarding call to me is kind of gray.
Yeah.
I find it more dangerous if the player is like 3 feet from the boards and they get hit like that, where they're actually going head first into the boards. So I feel, they gave him the penalty. I was fine with it. I don't. That was kind of the end of it for me. I wasn't up in arms on it. It's shitty and really unfortunate for Coronado, but I
And he
wasn't as
came back.
upset as a lot of the people. Yeah, he came back and played
And
in the game.
how do you feel about Huberdeau jumping Rantanen?
That's what you do. You protect your players in a situation like that. I have no problem with that.
No, absolutely. And
And
to
that just
me,
shows leadership, right? And shows a good camaraderie with the team. So I don't mind that at all.
I absolutely agree with that. And I also, um, I know Huberdeau gets a lot of flack for being a shit leader, which I don't at all agree with. I think that he's very well liked in the room, and I think that not producing as much as your contract says doesn't mean you're a shit leader. It means you're not producing as much as your contract says. That's a big difference.
Yeah, potentially might mean
And
that you're overpaid.
yeah,
I don't know.
and
Anyways,
yeah, and I just think that it's good to see Huberdeau do that. As far as Rantanen's hit, also the refs got that right, in my opinion.
yeah.
Huberdeau absolutely deserved the instigator penalty that he got because he did. And I take him getting that instigator penalty 10 times out of 10 because that
Mhm.
was a fucking great time to do it. Um, they got Rantanen 5 in the game, I thought, right? And it wasn't even the hit itself because you're right. I think that he being Coronado kind of slowed up a little bit and
Mhm.
got, you know, Rantanen had this committed to the hit and he had time to back out of it. And I think that he was just kind of getting ready to hit the boards, honestly. And then Coronado was dodging a hit from another player and
Mm.
stopped and back up because I don't know if you noticed, but there was another guy swooping in from the front of Coronado that he could see. He couldn't see Rantanen. So,
Yeah.
unfortunate series of events. But what Rantanen did do that really pissed me off was after that hit happened, he rubbed Coronado's face on the dasher. And
Yeah.
that's unacceptable to me. I don't care about
No.
like I do care about dangerous hits because that was a dangerous hit, but I think that that was an unfortunate series of events of him trying to dodge one hit without knowing the other one was coming. Sure, I'll take that, but I also
Yeah.
Rantanen hit him and then like put his forearm on Coronado's face and like rubbed it into the fucking dasher, and that's not okay in my opinion. Like that's just fucking garbage. Um, so
No.
that's and he also did something relatively similar, actually more similar to what you were saying, where Romanov was about 3 feet, 4 feet away from the boards and
Mm.
fucking took him out for the season,
Yeah.
just the game before. So I do think that he deserved that um, suspension that he got. I just I don't think it was as dirty as it looked up until the very end, where the hit was already complete, and then he continued literally rubbing his face in it.
Yeah. I I don't agree with the the instigator scenario being 10 minutes.
Yeah,
Um, to me, that's just I find that to be super extreme. So you get 5 minutes for fighting and 10 minutes.
yeah. Um, now
Uh,
that's one of the that's a misconduct though, right? Misconducts don't take like that player has to go to the box, but it's not a power play, right? So
yeah.
the the instigator was only 2 minutes. The instigator penalty was only 2 minutes, and that's why there was I think it was a 4-on-4 for 2 minutes, and then it went to a 3-minute power play for us because Rantanen got the 5 and Huberdeau got the 2, so it was both guys were off for 2 minutes, and then whoever was serving that penalty for Huberdeau came out, and then it became a 3-minute power play for us.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I think it was called right.
Yeah. So you got Rantanen 5 minutes for boarding, obviously.
Yeah.
Huberdeau 2 minutes for instigator. Rantanen and Huberdeau 5 minutes for fighting, and then both got a 10-minute misconduct as well.
Yeah. So I don't know what the misconduct was for, but
it says instigator.
Oh,
it's an automatic now, from what I understand.
Yeah. So yes, it's a penalty, and because it was Huberdeau, who is, in theory, one of our best offensive players, it's super noticeable. But it was also just a 2-minute penalty. It wasn't a 10-minute penalty, right? It's like
No, I understand that.
Yeah.
But I don't care if it's Lomberg. I just think the 2-minute, or sorry, 10-minute is too much for me. I get the 2-minute penalty. That's fine. That is what it is. But it's the 10 minutes that I'm just like, that just seems stupid to me. That's just over the top, in my opinion.
Fair enough.
But that's just my take on that.
That's fair.
Like if you absolutely jump somebody and start going over the top, fine. I guess, do your misconducts. But I mean,
remember, fuck, I can't remember who it was against, but somebody hit one of our players. It was super dirty, and Zeri like straight up Superman punched him from behind. I think it was last year. Like literally jumped him from behind and Superman punched him. And that, yes, but that deserves a 10-minute misconduct. But I kind of agree with, your guy gets fucking leveled and his face rubbed in it like that, and then you go up to the guy face to face and you both throw your gloves down.
They both threw their gloves down at the same time.
But yeah, having him off for 10 minutes.
Yeah, but like they both threw their gloves down at the same time. Like he didn't instigate it; he reacted to it.
Yeah.
Rantanen knew that he was fighting somebody after he made that hit. It's just So then whoever that somebody is gets a misconduct for it. I think that's stupid.
Yeah, that's fair. So I was talking about Zeri a minute ago. I want to kind of rewind back to him because my feelings on the player. I'm curious how you feel I don't know how much of the last few games you've watched, but I think personally, ever since he's been put back with in the top 9 full time, not with Lomberg and whoever is on that line. He's been playing with actual NHL level players consistently on the same line with the same role for a few games now, and I think he's been getting better and better. I thought he had, through the first 2 periods, I thought he was the best skater on the team today. Right. And then last game I believe it was last game he scored. I thought he's been good for a few games, but he's still not skating fast enough. And that's still super worrisome, but I think that he's finally been given that role and been playing with those players in a consistent manner, and he's been playing way better over the past few games.
Yeah, I mean he's been noticeably better for sure, and obviously you're right. He has not been skating well. He's had 3 really terrible leg injuries in his very short career so far. So I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
It's super unfortunate. I hope he can, find a way to get past it. I don't feel like it's going to be this year. I think he's probably he's going to need a full off season again, potentially, maybe some surgery. I don't know. I'm not really sure what's truly the situation there. If he's in constant pain or if maybe he's just timid. I'm not really sure what it is, but he
I
doesn't
have
seem to
an
be
opinion on
timid
it.
when he's playing, in the boards and stuff like that, which is pretty much the bulk of his injuries is the type of situations that he gets himself into.
Ironically
He's
enough,
not,
Rantanen.
yeah, right. He's not shying away from any of that, so I don't think that it's something that he's worried about per se, but it's noticeable is how just how bad he is on his feet now.
So
It's
you've
it's,
you've
it's really unfortunate.
you've broken bones and ripped tendons and shit before, right? So you
Oh yeah.
know that when you're all healed up and your cast is off or whatever, um,
Mhm.
you've lost a fuckload of muscle tone.
Totally.
I think that's the thing. And I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I have no fucking idea. This is just kind of spitball, and this is my thought on it. That the reason he's not skating as powerfully or as quickly or as explosively as he had been in the previous couple years is because he's lost that muscle tone and it just hasn't come back yet, and he's not comfortable with the what's the word I'm looking for? Compensation of the other leg having to do and the other hip and his back and stuff like that having to do more work because he doesn't have the muscle tone on that leg yet. So I'm
Yeah.
curious if that's a part of it. I don't know, but that's just kind of my thought on
Y-
it. I'm hoping that he can have a really good summer working out. And I know it's not even fucking New Year's yet. We're talking about summer, but I don't know. His play is getting better. His positioning is getting better. His chemistry with his line mates is getting better. His opportunities are getting more plentiful. And
mhm.
I'm hoping that his leg can catch up, whether it's this year or like you said, maybe it takes a year of working out or another surgery or something. I'm hoping that that happens.
Yeah. Yeah. When it comes to high level sports, compensating for whatever injury, lack of muscle, whatever the case may be, doesn't really work because you need all of it to continue to compete at that high level, right?
Mhm.
Like
Exactly.
like you're never going to be as fast or as strong as you were if you were even 90%, 85%, right? You're never going to be the same person. There's no compensation that's going to allow you to return to to a proper form, in my opinion. So I don't think he's going to get to that level this year. I also think that the organization kind of potentially saw some of that maybe in training and recovery and rehab where they didn't feel comfortable with that you know, big extension on contract, and so that's why I ended up with the 3 year. It's 3 year, wasn't it?
I
I think it was
believe
3 year.
two
Is it
two or
two?
three,
Fuck.
either way. Short term.
Yeah, yeah, short term, right? Yeah, 3 year. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So I mean, I really hope he can because yeah, I mean he's a pretty dynamic player when he's on. He's really good. And I don't think he's top line good, but he's absolutely middle six good,
yeah,
and even top six really. Like there's key situations where you can put him in the top line, but he can be a pretty useful top six player for the organization for a number of years if he can get past his injuries and not spend so much time in the emergency room, dealing with leg shit.
Yeah. And to me, power skating is such a big part of his game. And I know I've talked about this before on the show, but
Mhm.
when it comes to picking the puck up off the boards and driving the net, or
Mm.
driving through people on the wing or whatever, and driving to the net, he does that type of stuff a lot when he's when his legs are working well. And it's the type of thing that we don't have many guys that do. And also the neutral zone transportation with the puck,
Mhm.
that he needs speed to be able to do, right? Him and Morgan Frost are the only two players that I'm comfortable with going from the defensive zone to the offensive zone through the neutral zone without passing the puck. They're the only
Mm.
two guys on the team I'm comfortable with doing that. And I'm not comfortable with Zary doing it anymore because
No,
he's not quick
not
enough,
either.
unfortunately. But when his legs working properly, when he's quick, he's absolutely, I'd say, better than Frost at doing that. But here we are.
Here we are.
Hopefully he can, work out or whatever he needs to do to get his other leg back to the point where it can work properly. It's that simple, right?
I think the Flames need to decide what they're doing as far as entering the zone. I think they need to start calling their play before they start streaking up the ice. They kind of got this hybrid dump and chase, but sometimes trying to carry it in. But there has never been a situation where all five players know what the play is.
Yeah, it's been my biggest problem, and even for the first, I'd say 4 or 5 weeks of the season, defensively as well, there was a big issue where the five guys weren't on the same page. I think it's been a lot better of late, but
Yeah.
I found the first, well, again, 5 weeks or so of the season, there was lots of guys getting turnstiled because they weren't sure where they were supposed to be, and they weren't sure where their teammates were. And I think the system is starting to settle in, and the guys are starting to learn it a little bit. But on the breakout, it's fucking random. It's either
Yeah,
Frost,
it's a free for all.
it's either Frost carries it in, or they dump and chase, and then half of them don't chase. And it's like,
Right.
well, what are we fucking doing here then? What's
Yeah.
the point in the dump and chase
Dump and
if you're
chase
not
doesn't work when there's only one person potentially attempting to get there. Like that doesn't work.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. Defensively, coming back into our zone was a real disaster for the first month, which is ridiculous when there's only two players that weren't on the roster last year.
And it's supposed to be the same system, at least for the most part, right? But for some reason they made changes. That always confused me, especially on the penalty kill. Like when Trent Cole came in last season, after the penalty kill coach from last year had gone on permanent leave or whatever happened, he
Oh
left
yeah.
and never came back. Trent Cole came up, and the Flames penalty kill, I believe, was first in the league from when Trent Cole got called up all the way through the rest of the season.
Mhm.
Why did they change it? If it was that good, why did they change it over the summer? Start up a new season and change
Yeah.
the penalty kill so nobody had any fucking idea what they were doing, instead of just keeping it how it was, literally the best in the league for a quarter of the season or a third of the season or
I mean,
whatever it was.
yeah. I mean,
Same
they
guy at the
did
helm.
change it. They made some tweaks to it, but I think one thing that's lost in all of that was how good Wolf was last year.
That's true.
Right. I think that's the biggest change in the penalty kill.
Well, your best penalty
They
killer is your goalie. Has to be.
That's right. That's right. Now, that being said, other teams have pretty much had their way with puck movement in our zone for the bulk of the season, which is gross to watch.
for the bulk of
whether
20 years.
yeah, whether it be when we're on the penalty kill or 5-on-5, it's just not. I'm not comfortable when the puck is in our zone. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But yeah, but I think ultimately that's the biggest change is unfortunately Dustin just hasn't played to the same level. You know,
I
he hasn't
agree.
been terrible. He hasn't been the reason why we've lost games per se.
There's been a
You know,
couple. This game
yeah,
I'd say is probably this game against Tampa. I'd say probably is heavily on
mhm,
Wolf, and I'd say a couple of the games in the first 3 weeks or so probably on him. But for the most part, he's actually been pretty good in my opinion.
yeah.
Not
He's
not
been
lights out like he was last year, but pretty good.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I would give him average. He's been okay. But I mean, his numbers certainly suggest that he's. I mean, his numbers for the season so far is well below league average.
I don't even know what his
He's
numbers are, but
yeah, like he's had quite a few tough games.
he has had a
Like
few tough.
he's at an 890 save percentage right now with a 317 goals against.
So that's about 10 points under league average because I believe league average is about 900 these days. At least it was last year. I think it was like 9 or I think it was like 889 last year. Or sorry, 899.
899, yeah, sounds about
But
right.
but
And but it's funny, like so he's roughly 10 back of that mark now. Where last year when he was lights out and everybody
it was like
got to witness it,
911 or something.
nine, yeah, 910.
Yeah.
So it's not like he was like world beater as far as numbers are concerned. It's just that the timely saves I think what gets lost for a lot of people that don't have the pleasure of watching him is just witnessing his movement. I think it's just
Mm.
that's more of the thing that gets people awestruck is just watching him side to side and diagonally and just how quick he is and position wise and knowing where the play is going to
And not a fish
end
out of
up.
water. Even when
Yeah,
he gets beat. He's there and he gets beat.
right.
He rarely
Yeah.
gets beat out of position. Not like Kerry Ramo, who I actually thought was slightly underrated. I didn't mind him as much as a lot of people did, but like he was fucking all over the place a lot of the time, right?
Yeah.
Doing
So is
bicycle
Markstrom.
saves, shit like that. But
Markstrom, same thing. Smith, same thing. Elliott, same thing.
yeah,
Hillier, like all
oh
of
yeah,
them, just sporadic. Like
fish out of
where are
water.
you?
Yeah,
Why? Like you're the goaltender, man. Stay in the crease.
yeah.
Plays in our zone. Where are you?
I don't like to quote Steve Dangle that much, but if you're a goaltender, tend the goal.
Wow.
It's that easy.
I mean, it really is that easy.
Yeah.
There, there's nothing more you need to read into that. Like
It's
that's your
so
job.
straightforward.
It really is. You would think it would be easy. You would think
So
more
I just
people would
want
want to do
before
it.
we wrap up, I want to talk about one more thing. It's not official yet, but from what I've heard over the broadcast today, it might be official by now. But from what Elliot was saying on the broadcast today, apparently Craig Conroy has a 2-year extension that has,
Mhm.
generally if Elliot says something is done, it's done. And
Yeah, I saw something on it about 20 minutes
before we started.
before we
So
started.
I'm curious what you think because I know neither of us have been elated with the last year or so of Conroy. The first year or so I was super pumped with. The last year or so hasn't been so good, but I also feel like especially of late we've kind of learned that he's not allowed to do the job he's supposed to be doing. They don't let him and
Yeah.
I'm not sure if they're going to or not, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think we needed a GM change or anything like that. I think we need an ownership change.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen. But I think it
Yeah.
needs
It's
to
obviously
change, or at least the philosophy from the top needs to change. It doesn't matter who's in the GM chair if the philosophy from the top doesn't change. And I think, like I said at the beginning of the show, about 90% of Flames fans right now are thinking the same way.
well, yeah. I mean, it doesn't matter who you put in that seat if they're not allowed to make the call. What's the fucking point of changing it?
Yeah.
Like, it's just for the to pretend like you're doing something. Like, I'm hoping the fan base is smarter than that, right?
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
think a lot of people are learning now, especially with the Maloney comments last week. And then for some fucking god awful reason, they're like, you know what? He really, really bombed yesterday. Let's send him out for a fucking 2-part interview with Eric Francis.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
again, in the spirit of me saying Kadri hasn't annoyed me nearly as much this year as he usually does, Eric Francis this year, a lot less fucking stupid than he has been ever since I became a Flames fan.
Holy, you've really turned over a new leaf. Kadri's doing okay sometimes. Eric Francis is not nearly as fucking stupid. Check.
He's still pretty fucking stupid, but his last couple articles have actually like somewhat described how the fan base, myself or the fan base in as a whole, has been feeling, in my opinion. No, there's like even Steinberg has been saying it on his shows, like it's time. It's time for us to go younger. It's time for us to get some top flight draft picks and a couple of really good elite young players and build
Mhm.
that way instead of continuously being like, oh, we have Matt Vegradine, let's go sign a fucking 32-year-old fucking guy in free agency this summer, or this absolutely batshit crazy thing that Don Maloney said the other day, which was, we don't need less Kadris, we need more Kadris. It's like, uh, we need more 35-year-old NHL players. Like, don't we have like fucking 6 of them? Do we need more? Like, are you nuts? Fuck.
It was it was hard to watch for sure.
Yeah.
It just shows how out of touch they are when they're just sitting up in their cushy suite and living the life, drinking the champagne and whatever the case may be. But I think we've been trying this method for 20 years.
Yeah.
20 years where instead of drafting, let's send our draft picks away to pick up
Travis
players.
Hamonic,
Let's right.
Dougie
Let's
Hamilton,
let's sign 30-plus-year-old free
Troy
agents
Brouwer.
for a lot of money. Um,
Not trying to
you know,
interrupt you. I'm just bringing up
no
examples of exactly what you're talking
examples.
about when you're talking about it.
Like I mean, how many times do you go through this same process of doing the same stupid shit and it doesn't work before the owner finally fucking goes, huh, all of these GMs that have been sitting in my office for the last 20 years that have been telling me the same thing, I believe, that we need to draft, get younger, get faster, get stronger, get fucking
With the
build a
time,
winning team. Well, yeah, maybe they all were right.
yeah,
Maybe. Maybe the way that the NHL has been changed over the last 2 decades, and the only people winning Stanley Cups are the ones that have a superstar that have drafted either one, two, or three, and have built a franchise from that, maybe that's a winning system.
Mhm.
Just maybe.
And a lot of them have got. Look at today, right? Nikita Kucherov drafted in the second round. If you'll remember, the Flames drafted Tyler Waterspoon, the exact
Oh yeah.
pick right before Nikita Kucherov. However, I believe Steven Stamkos and Victor Hedman were top 3 picks. I think
Yeah.
Vasilevsky was a top 10 or 15 pick, right? Like
Yep.
they have, or they, while they were winning, they had these. Yes, they hit on Kucherov, but they also had really, really good top flight picks. Look at the Kings, who won several cups. They had Doughty, they had Kopitar, they had blah blah blah. You look at um, Chicago, who had Taves and Kane and fucking Keith, and like they had
Seabrook and
Seabrook. Like I don't know how many of those guys were top 10 picks, but I know that Kane and Taves were certainly top 3. You know,
yep.
top.
Yeah, same thing. You
Yeah,
know,
right. Like
Pittsburgh with Crosby. You know,
Malkin,
everybody. That's right.
Fleury
Everybody
was the
keeps
first overall
saying
pick,
to me
wasn't he?
that I'm wrong in there. That teams, you know, what about up north? Well, they're a terrible fucking team. They have no goaltending. They have next to no defense.
They didn't have any
Like
goaltending last year, and they still got to the
made in the final.
finals twice because they had third overall Leon Draisaitl, I believe, first overall Connor McDavid, first overall Ryan Nugent Hopkins, who's probably more like 12th overall if you actually do a
Yeah,
redraft.
look at the way it. Yeah,
But no,
yeah, that's
they
just
had
because
all those
North
guys, and
County.
they had Nail Yakupov, which didn't work, but they had all these other guys that did.
Yeah.
Like,
Taylor
and they
Hall.
made 2 straight finals. Just saying. Anyways, long
Yeah.
story short, I think Craig Conroy probably deserved the extension. I don't think he's really allowed to do the job that he'd like to do. I like to believe he wants to lean in a little bit more to at least 2-3 years of a rebuild. I just don't think he's allowed to.
Mhm.
But again, it's good that he got re-signed or extended. I don't know how much it really matters unless ownership sees and learns what's going on like the rest of us can fucking see right in front of our goddamn eyes and
Yeah.
actually do something about it, and then maybe it'll matter. But until then, it doesn't matter if it's fucking Jay Feaster or a brand new guy or Craig Conroy, or if they bring up fucking Brad Pascal or something. Doesn't matter if Don Maloney takes over. If they're not allowed to do their jobs, they're not allowed to do their jobs. So
I would be against that one. Do you think
I
it's a
would too, but
coincidence?
you know,
Do you
he's the
think it's a
most
coincidence
embarrassing
that
man in hockey.
we had to go and replace all the smoke detectors at Murray Edwards' house today? Do you think it's a coincidence given what everything's going down in the last
Yeah.
couple of weeks?
Did you actually have to go do that?
Yes.
Did you talk to him?
No, he wasn't there. He's in hiding.
In Switzerland?
Yep.
Who knows?
Not paying taxes here, I tell you that. Um, no, we use his contact to gain access and stuff.
Yeah.
His contact's a pretty decent guy. Um, yeah,
I'm sure
I was
Murray's a pretty
kind of
decent guy
comical.
too. He just has no
When
fucking
you
idea
talk to
what's
him face
going on.
to face, yeah, he absolutely is, right? He's old he's old oil. You know, he's pretty much what you would expect an Albertan to be like, you know, one
Yeah.
on one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Are we done for the day, you think?
oh man, you have no idea. I'm done for the day. I got to get to bed. Got to get up early, put on my NFL jersey, and go watch some football at a pub nearby.
All right. Well, have fun for that, and have fun with that.
So,
Everybody, make sure you like and subscribe. Check us out on all of your favorite podcast platforms. Make sure you subscribe to our new feeds, because in the last couple months here, we've been transitioning over to our new feeds. It's all on our link tree, which is posted on our Facebook and X profiles. So make sure you hit all that stuff up. Let us
Also,
know
we
how
just-
you feel about the Conroy extension in the comment section below, and tell us how you feel about the last few games. Finally getting some W's, if that's what you want. If that's not what you want, tell us below. And yeah, go Flames, go.
Go Flames.